It says that we are live. So now, how do you see like if there are actually people here?
All About Comics is in the chat. I'm here too. All About Comics. Hello.
Okay. Well, I have the chat up, but nobody came up in the chat. Maybe I got like top chat.
There's two chats, and let me see here. I got the wrong window open. Let me see here. Want to make sure I'm in the right thing here.
Yeah.
And I liked the video, as I should. What I have to usually do is open the chat in another window, or open it on my phone. I usually prefer so I've got yours open on my iPad.
Okay, I might just do that because I'm not seeing.
As long as the iPad is muted, you won't have any problems. But All About Comics is in here.
Okay, hey, All About Comics. So yeah, let me.
He was early. He was ready.
There you go. So I don't know that there's an agenda to this. John's helping me actually go live by not doing the cheating and using the mobile. So he's joining me here. But my agenda was 800 subscribers, and I thought I'd talk about comics for a little bit. So
big congrats. You're at 111 now. You've blown past 100.
Gosh dang it. I'm going to forget his name now. So you go to my channel here. Someone who was relatively new, Sunshine Comics, like actually put out a video of my channel yesterday telling people to hit me up that I was at 98 subscribers. And like
and I shouted you out for the awesome series that you're doing. If people don't know, that incredible series you're doing, just looking at the changes that happen over 6 months, and some books holding strong, some books going up, some books dropping down, just seeing how that CBI list works over time, because it's really valuable to understand the economic side of it, which I struggle with.
Yeah, and my whole thing for doing that, I wonder if this is going to work. I guess it's just delayed. Okay. So was really just like, for me, it was because I see all these like hot books. I was like, oh, I want that. And I'm like, but why? And trying to make myself help myself be disciplined, I started trying to look back and understand what was really factors that made those books worth going after or not. And the biggest thing I've seen is that if they're on that list, it's too late. You need to be patient.
Yeah, I totally agree, and especially when it comes to hot covers, that hot cover of the week. So many times that book 6 months later will be at a level where you can still. I mean, it won't go back to cover price more often than not, but it's certainly going to go back to a level where you can then probably afford to get it. And I was looking on my last live stream, I was showing that Thor 705, the Art Germ cover. That's an example of one that didn't do that. I'm still waiting for it to come back down again. That book's old, and I'm keep waiting for it to drop down. The Virgin cover.
You can get the trade dress, but the Virgin is still kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I got the traditional cover for like $4. It was really cheap. But yeah, it's the other one's still well over $100 just to get one of those, even the raw ones. And so I'm waiting. That's one that I'm like, keep hoping that it'll drift back down again. Come to Earth.
Hey, Sunshine Collects Things. That's who gave me the shout out yesterday. I was blanking on his full name, his full channel name. That helped me reach 100. So thank you, Sunshine.
Sorry, I was meant to. I had it on mute. It's well deserved. You should be way over 100. Totally.
Well, people keep saying that, and I appreciate it, but I've only been doing this for like a month, and I feel like I'm sort of I'm still kind of stunned that people watch. To be honest, it's I'm I watch it back and I cringe, and I'm like, did I really say it that way? And what am I talking about? And it's and then I look up and I got 40 watches, and I'm like, 40 people spend time watching this?
I think there's definitely times when even probably Bueller is questioning the whole thing. Like, why are people watching what I'm doing?
Let's see. Bake the Snake has joined us. So, hey, Bake. He's been one of my supporters from the beginning. He's been very like supportive of just. He's joined, I think, every one of my live streams and has just sent me a lot of messages, and I really appreciate it, Bake. But
yeah, JP is in here, and JP has been a huge supporter of mine and always giving me shout outs. And when I jump in the chat, always saying nice things. So always appreciate JP.
I'm not changing.
All about comics. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I knew that. I was like, I blanked on it.
It's hard. Everybody's like double named. I just figured out that Comic Head 84 is Kenny. So every once in a while, I'm like, is it Kenny or do I say Comic Head 84? I like go back and forth.
Well, and I went back and forth on that because everybody knew me as Jason P. And like from when I was in their chats, and I was gonna like change my channel name when I started making videos, like to like JP's Budget Comics or something, you know. But then I was like, and I did that, and I was in chats, and everybody was like, who's the new guy? And so I just changed it back because it was easier.
Yeah, that's that tough thing is like you want to change your name, but people have heard it. Like I went through the same thing. It was oh gosh. I went at the very beginning. There was a bunch of different names that I went through trying to find the one that was like, and then I had to make an Instagram that matched it because it was like I didn't want people to like think who was it. Well, one name over here, one name over there. Right. I agree. Bake the Snake. It's because he's being himself and he's a great guy and he's got great content and great ideas. I totally agree.
Well, you know, one of the things that I'll get into some books here in a minute, but like one of the things I struggle with as a collector for me is I am on a pretty tight budget. And so just like trying to shift through all these are the hot books and these are the books you need this week. And, you know, and like disciplining myself when I first got back in, which I didn't do very good for the first couple of months, and quickly realized that wasn't going to work. And it was like, so I've tried to, and still am, because I'm not always very good at it, try to figure out ways to like make smarter decisions. And I just figured that's what I would talk about because that's the kind of stuff I think about.
I think when you take a break from collecting and then you come back into it, you're always going to be spending too much and going a little bit crazy and trying to catch up. There's this feeling of like, okay, what did I miss? That you want to catch up on all those things. And I think that can cause you to spend money in foolish ways. And I've definitely been guilty of that. I remember when I took a big break and I came back and Michael Turner was a hot thing. And I had never heard of this artist. And then I was buying everything he did and buying like 3 copies of everything that he was doing. And I still find, I go through a box and I'll find like, oh, there's 3 copies of Superman, Batman number 9. And I don't know why I needed 3 of those, but I got 3 of those. And it was just stupid money. And the more you can educate yourself, the better. I totally agree.
Well, I got back in and like, it was like, oh, look at all those cool Action Comic 1000s covers. And it's like, what? No. And look at all those cool 800 Spider-Man 800 covers. And yeah, those were not wise choices.
Yeah, and now that they got Detective 1000 coming along, I'm trying to make smart choices about that because it's like I don't need it. I don't need that book. There's some amazing artwork happening, but I'm probably, and like Bueller said, just recently Bueller found in the $1.50 bins near him, he's still finding Action Comics 1000.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You could like, I don't know that they've officially marked them to $1 yet, but my comic shop has. Of course, they were kind of new also, so they over-ordered those.
Sure.
And, like, you could go in and just, like, get stacks out of their bin. So they would just, like, thank you for getting rid of them.
Right.
They would probably give them to me for $1 if I wanted them. I don't, but, like, nobody else. But,
yeah, so, I mean, I might come back around and getting some of those. It was the same when the Fantastic Four came back and when Uncanny X-Men came back. I know I can go to my shop and still get Uncanny X-Men #1 or Fantastic Four #1. I probably couldn't get 2 or 3, but I can definitely get #1.
Yeah. So it's just been, you know, for me, it's been an education. It was one of those things that uh, my sister and I laughed. We went to C2E2 last year, which was her first con and my second. And we were on, like, they had a little shuttle bus. You could take the train to downtown because she lives out in the suburbs of Chicago. And we were on the little shuttle bus going to the con. And there's these guys behind us that were talking about comics. And we were both like, oh my gosh, we have no idea what these people are talking about. We are minor league collectors compared to these people. And it's just like they had their short boxes on their little trolleys.
Oh, man.
I was just like, oh my gosh.
I've only gone to one con now. We went to Cal Comic-Con with the girls, and I just did a backpack, and inside I had a few cardboard boxes like this that I thought were sturdy enough they could hold books. And I just left them fully empty. And then as we bought books, I would put them in one of those boxes and just put them back in the backpack. And it was a small backpack. It wasn't very big, but it was the best thing I could think of. I didn't want to do the hand truck and the short box. I knew I was not going to spend that much money.
Yeah, I just used one of these.
One of the store folios.
Yeah, one of the folios that. And I had
yet to buy one of those. I should totally buy one of those. I don't know why I haven't.
I'd like to get another one because you could fit two in my backpack pretty easily. So
yeah, exactly. And the kind of budget collector I am, like I would not be going and buying more books than that. Yeah. Although when I bring the girls, they want to dive in the 50-cent bins and pull out 10 to 20 books. So that's the drawback is like, okay, well then where's your budget? Your little one has her budget and I got to store her books and my books and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because they definitely, the con that we went to, they bought more books than I did.
Yeah.
I bought 6.
Yeah, I really didn't buy very many books at the cons. Like, I think I bought a couple of trades and like 3 or 4 books, and everything else was I was doing some signature stuff, and
right.
That was kind of it. So the chat has not been moving. I'm going to ask you, is the chat? How's the video on this, guys? Because I haven't tried this before through my computer. Are we doing pretty good? Are we stalling? Is it
looks like you got 5 people in there, and the video still looks like it's rolling on the stream there.
Okay. This, like I said, I hadn't tried it through the computer yet, so I was just curious if people were having any issues or anything like that. Let's see. Not seeing it. Oh no. Sunshine says I'm good, so that's good to know. So, well, my original plan for this, John, before I decided to have you join me, was I was going to actually go through something you talked about a while ago, which was some books that, you know, I was thinking about if I do a CGC order, what I should send, and not that I have very many that are worth it, but and see what people thought.
Yeah.
So,
and my biggest concern too is always like I have a nice little stack I'd like to send, but if I start looking at what each one individually costs, even that $150 that you get back from starting a like a premium membership, I'm still dropping another $500 just to send them all in. I think this is all just complete guesstimation. Like I have a feeling because it's based on the value of the book, if I'm not mistaken. Like
I believe it is
above a certain amount. If it's like a $600 book, then you're paying, you know, that money. There's a percentage that goes in. If it's a less than $100 book, then it's you know not as big a deal. Comic Books NYC, Kavi's in the chat.
Hey NYC, how are you? So yeah, and that's the other thing is because I'm on a budget, like whether or not actually sending in books, whether or not that fits in my budget is like, do I want to do that, or do I want another book or 2 or 3 off of that want list for 2019? And so that's a big thing that I'm trying to decide. I will probably, like, if I go to C2E2, I will probably do a submission for sure, because I'll probably get, well, you guys have seen it, but dig it out here. It's in here somewhere. Since I just showed it the other day, but I am probably going to try to get George and Marv to sign this guy. Get the glare off a little bit. There it is. And send that in for sure.
This is the one I would want them to sign. So we both have our Team Titans.
Yeah. So and I would love to have that one. I have not tracked that one down yet. This was a priority for me because Nightwing is was always my favorite when I was younger.
Can I ask you? So, like my LCS right now, they bought a big collection recently, and it had a whole slew of Teen Titans, and they had the entire Judas Contract storyline.
Right.
And my LCS did not want to break it up. They knew that the one book, that one is the highest valued book, and they priced that individually. That one book they said is probably a $75 book, and I was like, well, I haven't researched that book. I don't know what it's worth. And they said we'll give you the whole set for 85.
Right.
That's what they're doing right now, is selling the whole set for 85, and it seemed high to me, and I didn't go for it.
What's the condition on that?
It was a high quality one. I didn't study it super close, but I'd say it was at least an 8.5.
Okay. To me, like when I was pricing these around, I had set myself at that I wasn't going over 65 for one. So I had lost a couple of bids where it went to like 66. Somebody outbid me at 66 and 68. And I finally ended up getting this one. Well, the damaged one for 61 on an auction. And that seemed to be fairly like consistent in terms of like higher ones that people were claiming were near mint on eBay and stuff. That
Sunshine says you can find them for around 50 if you work hard.
Yeah, and you probably can. I decided and like I said, this especially on an 8.5, I think you could find something like that for around 50. This was, they were saying it was a 9.4, and I think it's a little better than that actually.
Yeah, and this one might have been. I knew it was above an 8.5 just by looking at it, but I didn't study it because I wasn't on the hunt for it.
Yeah,
I haven't even read that storyline. I have the trade, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So I don't have any passion to go and collect it. But he was saying 85 for the whole story, and I was like, well, geez, that's a lot of money, and for a story that I'm not familiar with.
I think that's a little high. Okay. For the group. That to me, because I did bid on, I was going to bid on the whole story, but I wasn't going to go. I was still in that $65 range, even for all four of them. I didn't, because I don't feel like you're adding a whole lot for the others.
Bake the Snake says he got both copies signed by Perez for $125 a piece.
Yeah, and you can find signed ones for fairly reasonable, I think. Yeah, like Sunshine says, the other books are dollar bin books. So
yeah, that was my thing. Was like, yeah, thanks for throwing them in, and they're all nice grades, but it doesn't make me want to drop that much. And usually my LCS, I feel like gives me a good deal and a fair price on stuff. That just seemed high, and I hadn't studied it, so I didn't know the value.
Yeah, and I would say we might have to talk. But I still got the bent corner, so that I don't know what I'm going to do with for sure. So
yeah, this one's got a
trade or something.
This one's got a crease that runs through Cyborg's shoulder. I don't know if you can see right in there. There's a little crease that runs that length.
That's not too bad though.
But other than that, I think it's in very good shape. And again, this was a gift, so I'm not going to I'm not looking at it now. No. I like that character of Deathstroke so much. I thought
there are several books in that run that I would like to get. I'm on the hunt for, if I do end up going to C2E2, which I can't get my sister to give me a straight answer on at the moment. I texted her today and she ignored me. But if I do that, the other book I'll probably take is number 1, just because that's one that's in my price range. And then, but yeah, there's number 2 is a good book. The first Blackfire is a good book, obviously. And then the other one that you would want is the DC Comics Presents 26 or whatever. The first Starfire, Raven.
Starfire, yeah.
Which is,
and I think I want to say
cover on it.
I want to say my LCS had the whole run, like the collection they bought. It was that whole run. It was pretty much like almost all the early Incredible Hulk run. 10. It was not. They didn't have 102, but it was like that run of Incredible Hulk. They had a 181 that they're sending off to get graded. They had a whole bunch of early Iron Man. Most of the Incredible Hulk early stuff is just not. There's not a lot of value in most of those books. There's just occasionally you get a 181 or you get the 102, but that's about it. But they had a whole bunch of that, a whole bunch of early Iron Man. So I just kind of cruised through, and they had some random ASMs, which is why I grabbed this Man Wolf, First Appearance of Man Wolf, because it was like it's a $10 book, because it's in some damaged condition, but I just like the character and the cover, and it fit. I have some of the other 120 books, 121, 122 with the death of Gwen Stacy, and I was like, this fits in well, and I like that character. Oh, and Thor, that's why I had the Throg. Because he has a whole slew of the mighty Thors. I bought that, and I bought the Stormbreaker, the first Stormbreaker.
Okay, yeah, nice.
339. He had a beta ray bill, but mine's nicer than his, so I didn't worry about that or anything.
Yeah. Let's see. Sunshine said the Brother Blood book spikes. That's the other one that's a pretty good one in there.
Okay.
But yeah.
NYC says he's got a whole stack of about 50 books he's trying to get through. He just sends 2 to 4 at a time, it looks like.
Great. I have about 15 I'd like to get graded maybe, and those are probably going to take me like a decade. So.
Well, that's my worry is you drop that 150 every single year, and it's like, how many books can you get graded with that at a time,
But yeah, that one would be, obviously that one would go, I think this is one I've had all along that is a super nice copy. That I will probably send off, just because I don't yet have. Well, obviously, the Batman Adventures 12 is on my high end book list for this year, but but this is one that I like, and this is one I just bought back in the day because I was a big Batman the Animated Series fan, and when they were bringing her finally to the regular DC universe, I grabbed it. It was strange that I did not ever collect any of those Batman adventures based on the TV show. I didn't buy any of those. I never had. So.
Well, they weren't worth anything till just a handful of years ago.
No, they weren't. But yeah, I kind of wish I'd had some of those. So that would be on my list to potentially send. I'm sure you can find dumb stuff to grade. Yeah, well, there's lots of dumb stuff that I would probably like to have graded. I mean, I have some even in here because they mean something to me. Well,
then it's like the question: are you grading it to flip it? Are you grading it to keep it?
I would probably anything I send is probably being graded to keep. Like I said, because this book has meaning to me, and it's not a very valuable book, but most people would say you wouldn't grade this. And this is my copy, which it's not in perfect condition. I mean, I think it's above a 9, but it's not a 9.8, but because it's been read on multiple occasions. So, but I take care of my books pretty well. So I would say it's still above a 9, maybe a 9.2, but at some point I'll probably send it off just to preserve it forever because it has meaning to me.
Right. I mean, some of mine I would be grading for flipping. I originally bought 2 of these because I knew I wanted to flip them. That was I didn't buy this to keep it forever. And I've already paid the investment off by selling one of the Edge of the Spider-Verse. I sold one and it covered the cost.
Right.
So I've got just one left. And if I ever slabbed it, that would be the reason would be to flip that one as well. And once it's gone, maybe even more up in value, then I can sell that.
Yeah. And that would be, and there might be some books I did, I kind of did that. I bought a 3-pack of this book because I found them for basically the price of one. I don't think people on the listing realized that there was 3 copies because I basically bought it on an auction for the price of one. At the time, the prices actually went down a little bit since then, but they're going to bring Camilla in. I mean, she's popular enough. There's no way that probably in the Captain Marvel sequel or in one of the Spider-Man movies she doesn't show up.
Right. Yeah.
And that would be this one actually is probably the one I'll keep because it's got a little bit of a discoloration. I don't know if I can get that really good. Oh yeah, you can see that.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it's just from the printer, but it's got a little discoloration on the bottom there. But these other 2, I don't know that they'll get 9.8s. I'm not a very good I'm not a great grader, but I don't see any flaws. I think they're like 9.8s or 9.6s.
That's great. I know that I'm the same way as Biggie Shaq. He's saying he buys a lot of low or mid grade, and that's definitely my attitude. I mean, obviously with newer books, you want them to be nice. Like I bought off of eBay Avenging Spider-Man 9 and 10 together as a lot. This was right before they announced, or right after they announced the movie, and I already feel like I've made more than my investment on that, but it's a nice enough copy. I would slab that for sure, and then eventually sell it. Yeah, because I would make enough money off that to then buy, like Biggie Shaq is, or like Comic Books NYC is saying, that Silver Age ASM book that you want or whatever.
Yeah,
Biggie said
that was actually, I bought, like you bought 8, 9, and 10 together. I bought the entire Avenging Spider-Man run.
Wow,
for less. And this was in there, and I would say this is maybe like a 9.4, maybe a 9.6. It's not definitely not.
Either way, you're making your money back on that.
Yeah, and I bought it for basically the price that this by itself was going for at the time.
Wow.
And it was just that I think people didn't realize that it was in there. They thought it was just the run or something. I don't know, but like. It was actually a little bit less than a couple of the copies I was looking at.
And it's an odd book for her to have that first, appearance as that character. That book was that run was just absolutely worthless other than those 2 books. And even
it's a terrible run, but I never read them. I read them. They're dollar books.
And I like Dodson. I like their art style. They're really great, but that second cover of Avenging Spider-Man 10 is one of the ugliest covers. It is grotesque.
Yeah. Like, to me, I feel like if you were going to jump on one of her books, it would be, this is the one that you would jump on, but because this is the one where she takes the name. And
that's technically the second appearance in costume, right?
Yeah.
Because Avenging Spider-Man 10 came just after that.
Well, no, yeah, this came out like the week before, and she's in the costume for the first time, but they never call her Captain Marvel.
Right.
And so this is the one where she actually takes the name. And but it's worth like $20.
I don't want to make too much noise here. In my auction with NYC, I sold a lot this one lot that had those books, and the buyer never contacted me. So I still have, here it is. Here's Avenging Spider-Man 10. I still have it.
Yeah.
I have that one. You just showed up, that one, for and then I had a Miss Marvel #1. Yeah. I had a little lot of those books, and the guy got it for a deal, and he never contacted me. So I'll just save it, and I'll do it as another lot on my next auction.
There you go.
Because maybe the movie will come out and people will be wanting it again.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't pay you. That was crazy.
That doesn't matter to me. I mean, I didn't lose anything for it, but
I know, but it's like, why bid if you're not going to pay him for it?
That's that troll thing that we were talking about on my channel just a bit ago. That's the whole, some people, that's all they've got time for is to jump in and be a grouch or mess something up.
Yeah, I did see that pickup. NYC's talking about his Jessica Jones pickup today that he showed.
Is that book still spiking? Because I think I have a second print and a first print, I think, of that one.
Yeah, I think
I just got it because it's such a good read. Like, I think that Jessica Jones run or Alias run is a really good read. I can see why they picked it to be a Netflix show and why it worked.
Yeah, no, it definitely worked. I know some people didn't like that show that well of the Netflix shows. I actually liked that one. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, he says it's come down a bit, but I know it's still. Last I looked at it, it was still up there pretty good, but. And that looked like a really nice copy you got today, NYC. But
was that? Oh yeah, that was in his hunt through the
warehouse.
Oh man, that made me the videos on Instagram made me so uncomfortable.
It really looked like this horrible place that I was like, but there were books everywhere. It was just like, how would they even know what's in there? It's just they probably don't. It's just like.
Well, he's saying it's a good book to have and move because when you slab it, it in high grade, it goes for a lot more. Bake the Snake says he liked season 1 a lot and season 2 is meh. I agree. I think the Purple
I
Man was such a good villain. You lose the Purple Man, I think you lose something on that show.
Yeah, the season was made by the Purple Man. David Tennant, like his performance in that first season, and then the way she was able to play off of him made that whole first season. The second season, he's correct, was kind of eh.
I don't know that I even finished the second season, but I haven't even finished this first season of The Punisher, so I'm not even ready for the second season of that yet.
Yeah, no, I have not. Like, I've fallen way behind on those. I kind of lost interest after the first Iron Fist season, and then like I've picked up a few of them since then, but I have not watched most of those since then.
I really wish they had just killed Iron Fist in the first season of The Defenders. And I think they should have just realized, you know what, that show was not working. Let's just kill him off and then run with these other 3 characters.
Well, and
instead of making him the focal point of the entire season, it was like,
well,
oh, dear God.
I never understood the choice of that. Like, the writing on that wasn't great, but his acting is terrible, and I never understood that choice.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who watched Game of Thrones could tell you he cannot act.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad casting, but I also think that's a tough character to get right. I do feel like that character is odd. I mean, the Kung Fu thing after a while and the only one glowing fist thing is kind of weird. Like, I think it's a tough character for people to get into. Whereas you look at, I think, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones are characters that you can feel a lot of empathy for and understand in a big way. Whereas Iron Fist, the spoiled rich kid who learned how to do Kung Fu, the white guy who learned Kung Fu is not really like something you relate to in a big way.
Well, and I think, I think they should have just, like, they could have just cast him as an Asian actor. I think it would have worked better.
Know that. I just feel like they could have just picked a different character to make him. I know the Defenders always has to have Iron Fist, but I just feel like it's a tough one to make work.
The main thing is, I think they should have just embraced that it was a Kung Fu show instead of, like, making it what they... I don't even know what kind of show they tried to make it, but it wasn't a Kung Fu show.
Yeah, right.
Just go full out Kung Fu and, you know...
Did I hear they're doing, like, that whole Kung Fu... Was it the Master of Kung Fu that, like, Marvel's optioned one of their characters?
Oh, Shang-Chi, I think?
Yeah, did they really option that?
I think they're talking about making a movie out of him.
That's crazy.
That's not a character I know very well. Like,
of all the characters they have at their disposal, that seems like the funniest one to pick. Had to get Cap 100. Ooh, Cap 100. That's a good one.
Oh, nice. That is a good book. So I'm just trying to check the chat here a little bit.
This is my big purchase of the year. Where did I put it? Here we go. I've been showing this on other people's channels and not my own because I don't know that I'm ready to share it on my channel yet. This is nice. I got a 180 here.
Where'd you track that down at?
That was part of that big haul my comic shop got. They had this and they had the 181, but they wanted to send both of them out to get slabbed, and I convinced them to let me take this one home with me.
There you go.
So
yeah, no, I have not had any like big hauls yet this year, other than the Tale of Teen Titans is my only big book, if you want to call that a big book. For me, it's a big book.
That's a big book. That is a legit big book.
So, but I've been trying to, like, I've actually had bids on 3 other books on my list in the last week or so, and I've lost all of them. So, like, I bid on a Batgirl 13 or Batgirl 12, the Archer cover. I bid on a Spider-Man 191 or first Black Cat. I got the number. I got the number mixed up.
Yeah.
And then I bid tonight on 361, ASM 361, and did not get that either. So
I do miss I sold my 361 and my New Mutants 98. Those were the big sells I've ever done. Like I'll sell little things here and there, little lots, little collect, some of it, but like those were the 2 big boy books that I sold that I knew would go up. They still had a little room to grow, but I was like, I'm not interested in Carnage or Deadpool. I don't have a lot of like love for those characters. And knowing that they had a little room to grow, I could sell them at the high price they were at, which was end of 2017 prices. So before Deadpool 2 came out. I was like, okay, I'll sell it, and it's high. I don't know how much higher it'll go, but I knew that money would help me get the giant size X-Men that I was like, one day I needed to get this book. So like the only way I'm going to do it is if I sell something I've got, and this is what I've got.
Well, I was actually like, 361 is only sort of on my list. Like, it's a book that I would like to have, but it's not like, it would not have probably made my list. But I feel like it's a book that if I got it now, that when they make a Carnage movie, which I think they're going to, with Venom doing as well as it did, is that would be a book that I could maybe turn into something else. And
yeah, I didn't know how that Venom movie would do, and I saw how bad the trailers were, and I was like, you know what, now's the time. Like, I'm just gonna sell it while people are hyped on this.
Yeah.
And I'll sell that Deadpool while the movie's getting hot, and it's like, make a little bit of money now. And I you just don't know. If that movie had bombed, I would have been the smartest decision I ever made.
I never watched it, but like the things I heard about it, it didn't sound to me like it was that much better than the trailers, but it did well. So maybe I'm wrong on that. I haven't seen it, so.
Let's see. I'm trying to understand. Biggie Shack says he got a Spidey 39 first Thanos copter.
I'm not sure what he's going for there.
I don't know. Maybe it's a typo.
But NYC says it was entertaining, so maybe it was better than I thought. I just haven't ever watched it yet. But no,
yeah, I'm behind on a few of those movies like that. Yeah, I missed that, and I'm catching up little by little.
But the other reason I kind of actually, because it was kind of low priority for me, I hadn't planned on bidding on it, but they announced that Bagley's going to be at PlanetCon, so I was thinking about, like, if I got a high grade copy, like taking it, getting him to sign it, and slabbing it, and then flipping that when the movie comes out. If they make a card.
No, it's a good idea.
So
he's right. It's Thanos gets a helicopter. I do not know that moment, Bake, at Biggie Shack. I did not remember that Thanos got a chopper. You get the chopper.
What? I had not read that at all. I did not know that either.
I hope you guys are telling Key Collector app to put that one in there.
First Thanos.
Is that going to be like the Spider Jeep or whatever, the Spider Mobile?
Yeah, the Spider Jeep or the
the Thanos chopper.
Might have like first Batmobile or something kind of level.
I want to see a giant Infinity Gauntlet symbol on the side.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, what does Thanos need with a helicopter?
If you could just like travel through time and space, the helicopter just makes you look cooler.
Apparently, I guess so. So
it's ridiculous, says Biggie Shack.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now I kind of want that book. Just to see it. I might have to look that up, see if there's an image online for that.
Right.
But let's see, what else was there in here that I was like?
Do you think there's any reason to slab something like this? The Century One? I mean, it's not a huge book, but like it's a good first appearance. It's a high quality, high grade.
Boy, and that black cover, like, if you get a high grade in that, those are always tough. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them using the Sentry, but I feel like he's a character that they could use and could potentially be really good if they used him right.
That was my feeling. I've said it a bunch because I had not read it until I got the book from Tony Sanders. Like, it's a great read. Like, it is really entertaining read.
Yeah. I've heard good things. I have actually never read that Sentry storyline. I've just heard good things about it. It's just not a character I've ever gotten into, but because it kind of came out when I was out of comics, and but from what I know, it is a good. To me, I think it depends on what you're comparing it to, on whether or not I would slab that one, what your other options are, but I wouldn't be like, say you're crazy for slabbing that book. So, especially if it's a high grade copy.
Yeah, I think it's a high grade copy. And there's a few that like I would send the Avenging Spider-Man for sure in that first round. I would send the Spider-Verse. I would send that in the first round. And then it's like I would probably send the Fallout. I have an Ultimate Fallout 4 first print. I would send that. But beyond those 3 books, it's like, what else do you send? I have an NYX, but it's not a high grade. It might be an 8 or an 8.5. It's got a tape pull. You know, somebody had gotten the tape on the cover and it left a little spot.
Gotcha.
So I've got one, but I don't know if would it be worth sending that?
Yeah. I would like my first send, like the Tale of Teen Titans would probably go, that Harley Quinn, the Avenging Spider-Man, and then this would be one that would probably go in my first round.
Oh, I want one of those, man.
This was okay. This is one of
That's a great book
of last year. Like, my local comic shop, he does like Friday sales where he goes on Facebook and Twitch.
Okay.
Because it's the same like 10 or 12 of us that go in and watch those that buy from him regularly anyway. So I'm like, I've literally seen every book in the store. So, because he's not a very big comic shop. And I've been eyeing this one on the wall, but it was a little more than I wanted to spend, but I was like, that's okay.
And it keeps going up.
Yeah, it keeps going up. And so he had it on there. He put it on his little Friday show trying to sell it. And nobody was buying it. I think he had it at 75 or something. And he's like, okay, $50. And I was like, all right, sold. Like, give me. So, then I went in because I have a poll. I get 25% off everything, and they gave me 25% off the $50.
Oh, wow. No way.
Yeah. So I flat out stole this book. I will not.
That is, and then what's the grade? Do you think it's a high?
I would say, like, the lady that works in there that does their grading for it, she had it graded as a 9.2, and I would say that was probably, I think that's a little conservative. I think it's a little better than that. I mean, it's not a 9.8 by any stretch, but I would say it's more like a 9.4.
You definitely made your money back, and you covered the cost of the slabbing and everything.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. And so that was one of my 2 steals of the year, but that one would probably go for sure. What else would I go? Maybe this one would be in like a first batch.
Sure, yeah, that's a classic, Campbell.
Yeah, I mean that. I don't know if it would be in the first batch, but it would be one that would make me like. I would have to debate this one. This would be in the debate on whether or not it would go right off the bat.
Yeah. No, if it's a high enough grade, I think that's definitely worth slabbing for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know enough about slabbing, because I know almost nothing from personal experience. I've never sent a little
bit of research.
Yeah, I mean, I really have no knowledge base, but I know that there's like issues with sending groups of books that are like of the same era, right? You don't want to be mixing a Silver Age with a modern, because you're going to be paying more, because they go at different speeds through the process. And from what I understand, then you have to pay double the shipping because they will ship it back separately.
I think that is correct. Probably NYC or somebody in the chat could tell you better than I could, but
because I have books in every era. Those are the modern ones, but obviously I have a giant size X-Men and I have an X-Men 94, and it's like, do you want to send? You don't want to send those with this, because those would be books that are copper versus modern. You know,
right.
Do you get books back at different pace, and then. So anything that's going to raise the cost of me slabbing my book is probably going to be something that makes me want to not slab my books.
That I can understand completely. Yeah, that would be the thing. And I don't know if Tale of Teen Titans is old enough to be a separate category or not. I think not, because I think it's like 75 and sooner or something are all treated as modern. But
NYC says send it in at the same time, but with different invoices.
Oh, okay.
So but then you pay shipping on each invoice then for the return.
On each invoice, yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, well, and if you send it something like, I mean, the bill on like a book like Giant Size X-Men is going to be like, just the bill for it alone is going to be significantly more than any of the other books that you're showing. Probably.
Well, that's my worry. Like, Well, you know that Avenging Spider-Man and the Edge of Spider-Verse, those books are getting seriously expensive as well. I don't know that my giant size is like an $1,000 book. Like it's not that high of a grade. I'm hoping that it would come back a 6.5 or a 7, but I'm not promising that my giant size X-Men will be that valuable.
It would still be so. It would be similar to a high grade Avenging or Edge of Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I think it would probably be close to that.
Maybe a little more than those, but not too much.
If you want, I can get it and we can take a look at the grade. I struggle to grade those kind of things.
Well, I've been investigating that, but I am a complete novice at grading. I will fully admit that. Particularly once you get past like an 8.5.
Right.
It's telling the difference between like a 6 and a 7 or a 5 and a 4. Like I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And like when I look at books on, like it's one of the struggles with some of the books, more expensive books that I'd like to have a copy of, like that Detective Comics 359. Mm-hmm. If I look at a raw copy, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
To know if it's a good price or not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So then you're stuck with buying a slab, and it's like they like those once they're in a slab.
So let's see. Kavi's saying he does that invoice trick to save money on the shipping, and then but don't want to wait until one era book is done. That takes longer for all, and then it takes longer for all my books to ship like moderns. Okay. And again, most people you slab a modern before the price goes up, and then you're not paying out the wazoo here. Okay, so here's what we got. So this is my giant size X-Men. It definitely needs a pressing and cleaning. The colors are pretty strong, I think. Still, like the colors are nice. It's fully attached. It's not missing any pieces or anything like that. There's some issues at the spine right here. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera. Here, let me click on my picture here so I can see if it's out of focus or not. There, I'm in focus. I don't want to be in focus. Yeah, you can see there's some issues with it's starting to like tear right in there. It's less than the length of my fingernail, like the tear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it.
And then there's a little bit of like flaking on the back cover. You can kind of see there. And again, it could use a little cleaning. The back cover is definitely dirty. It's not a very bright white, although the camera is doing some wonderful things to make it look whiter than it actually is.
White on the camera. I'm looking.
Yeah, I love that camera. The camera is doing me a lot of favors.
At the iPad as opposed to on my computer, and it looks really white.
I would love it to be slabbed, and again, I don't see many that aren't these days. Ooh, I just noticed that spot in the X-Men in the end. There's a little bit of a little crease there. The color breaks right there in the end. I mean, it's nothing dramatic. I was very happy with the quality of it, and I just wanted to own one.
Hey, and some of those, that's me. Some of those books I just want to own.
So I don't know what all that amounts to for a grade. I took it to be mid-grade.
6.5 to 8, depending on a clean and a press, but.
Thanks, NYC. And that was I think the price I paid, I looked at it as a 5.0 on the price that I was paying. So if it comes back a 6.5 or higher, I think I've made considerably more money than I put in.
Yeah. Well, and that book, to me, that book's getting to the status of you almost can slab any grade of that book at this point.
Yeah.
It's old enough, and it's getting to that status. I mean, maybe not like maybe it'd be silly to slab a 1.5 or something, but anything.
I think there's people that have slabbed a separated cover, just slab the cover. There's people that do that, I mean.
Oh, I know. Well, what was it? RB3 had like a page of the Wonder Woman first appearance, like one page. It's like
Action Comics. There's lots of people doing that and find this one page of the Action Comics. They just hope that it's a page that actually has him on it.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, we've almost been on here an hour, so I'll get off of here pretty quick. Let's see. I will show. Let's see, maybe 2 more books that I was.
Yeah, you showed 2 more. I've shown too much.
Let's see. Which other one? Or probably maybe. I don't know. This one I consider marginal. This is my other steal of last year. I found this in the package
yeah,
for cover.
Ooh.
And
last year you got that for cover?
About 2 weeks before they made that little announcement that they were considering making a Silk movie. Like, it was literally like just a couple weeks before that. But I found it, yeah, back issue bin for cover. So,
wow.
And it is a really nice copy.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah,
you would have won the hunt that day for sure.
I think I probably would have. But so that's one that I would consider. I don't know that it's high enough to actually make like an early, like, I think I have a couple of submissions that would go before this, but get the glare off. But definitely, like, yeah, I would consider this and the Batman 608 are my 2 steals of last year. The best deals I had. I had some other deals that weren't nearly as good. So
no, I agree. Those are phenomenal deals. And I will also say the books that I would send to Slab, there are very few of them that would be designed to flip.
Yeah.
Most of them are like, that's a gift and it was something that was valuable. When TJ gives you a book, it's going to be a high grade, and if it's a key, I got that.
It amazes me. Like,
dude. So this is the one that he gave me that was the big key.
That's a book I remember reading, and like when I was a kid, off the spinner rack.
Sure.
And then I put back.
I thought, like, I'm never going to see one that's this white that I will get, whatever. And so like I would be slabbing this not for flipping, but for keeping, because it's sentimental, and he gave it to me.
Well, yeah, like TJ is sending you guys. I laughed like during one of Thanatos's that TJ sent like Thanatos a better collection than I have.
Legitimately, that first AOK, which took 2 video streams for him to actually get finished and get through, he legitimately got a higher quality collection than I had at the time, and I think probably still than the one I have today. Although I've been working hard to try to like tier up to his level.
And this is a book that almost made my Grail list for this year, but didn't quite, just because I know I'm only going to get 1, so there was no point in putting 5 or 6 on there. But yeah, it was crazy. TJ is super generous, but the fact that he has those books is what amazes me.
Or has multiple copies, and the ones that he gave away, like, I'm certain that he's got a better quality copy than this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how do you have a better quality copy than this?
Yeah,
it's insane.
So I'll share one more, and then we'll call this the end. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I will say I'm in 100. I'm not announcing a giveaway, mainly because I'm not, like, I didn't expect to get here this quick, so I'm not really ready. And I think I want to wait till after PlanetCon for sure, because I'm gonna try to arrange maybe a sketch cover or something and some other stuff to like do a giveaway. So my goal is 220, a 220 giveaway, because 22 is a number that means something to me.
Nice.
So if we get the 220 around PlanetCon, which is a little over a month and a couple weeks from now, so somewhere in that time range, I'm going to shoot for doing a giveaway then. And I may actually, so I'm going to shoot for maybe a sketch cover, maybe a couple signed books, maybe one of those Captain Marvel books I showed earlier.
There you go.
So that might be what I'm going to target anyway. So, but last book I'm going to show, and this is one that kind of just has sentimental value to me because I just remember getting it, and like, is this one.
Oh yeah.
And this cover is still like, I don't know if I've read this, but I don't know if I've ever read this copy.
Well, like, and finding that in a high grade with all that black is not easy. You just need somebody to read it one time, and you're guaranteed a couple of spine dings and a fingerprint.
Yeah. So there probably is a fingerprint on it, but pressing and a cleaning maybe, and it would be pretty good. So looks like we're down to 3 people in the chat. So, well, with that, John, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank everybody that did. Thanks for 100 subscribers. And yeah, we'll get off of here. So let everybody go about their evening. I'm not going to do a Thanatos and say goodbye 12 times. So, all right. See you guys.